Richard, so tell me now, why do you want to scrap Bord Bia?
Well, you know, I'm opening debate for a start. Okay, you know, certainly the word scrap, you know, it's a very, very big word. Bord Bia historically has been a great ambassador for selling food abroad. I think the market is changing. That the quality assurance scheme, that is a government-regulated organisation, Bord Bia, and within European law, they can't just support Irish food because it's illegal. So what I am saying is certainly a radical rethink or a break-up that Bord Bia does historically what they're really good at doing, which is selling abroad Irish foodstuffs.
Okay, so,
a rethink of the quality assurance scheme of what it represents within the island of Ireland. And maybe industry, their own industry, Farm Ireland needs to have a rethink of what does that quality assurance scheme mean. If most of Europe, for example, large part of Europe, some of the biggest retailers is banning GM food from their buying. Okay, why aren't we ahead of everybody?
So just take me through, Richard. What are the problems on Bord Bia as it is now? You're saying that when it puts its quality assurance label on meat or chicken or whatever the food product may be, it's not allowed to just do that to Irish products. It has to do that to everyone.
It's against the law for Bord Bia to exclude any organisation within Europe of saying we want that stamp as well. So therefore it's not an exclusively Irish stamp.
And you were saying it should...
Well, for the consumer it seems I'm buying Irish. You know what I mean? Really, the great tradition of supporting our own in the times of need and crisis. But on this occasion that scheme doesn't work.
Do you think that most people, when they see the on Bord Bia stamp, they think that they're actually buying an Irish chicken, we'll say, whereas in fact it may be a chicken from Poland, which is a quality assurance stamp?
I'm not saying it's from Poland. I'm saying it's open to any organisation within Europe to have that stamp. So therefore, if somebody sees a quality assurance stamp, it should represent something. It should represent, first of all, it should represent, you know what I mean, where is it from? Okay, what county it could be from, what type of chicken it is. Okay, which, you know, it says barn, it doesn't say barn, it says farmed, free range or organic. It doesn't state that it's GM free. I think it should. I think that's very serious. The rest of Europe is going GM free. Why doesn't that chicken stay on that labelling? So the labelling issue needs to be explored further. We need clear, concise labelling. When they talk about this product contains 92% meat, that could mean it contains 60% fat. You know what I mean? To me, meat is lean meat. Not, you know, so let's open this up to the consumer. Let's make it easy for the consumer to look at the label, knows where it's from, spend their punt of supporting Irish jobs and Irish industry. And that's what I'm saying is needed at this moment in time. Because what's happening with the large buyers, which is the large supermarket groups, they're throwing less of an eye back into Ireland and more of an eye abroad, of bringing in foodstuffs from abroad.
So this
is deeply bloody worrying, deeply worrying.
What about the latest move by Tesco's now to reduce the prices of some of their goods, particularly in their stores along the border, to prevent the movement of traffic from up north?
I think the thought of a British retailer putting up a food border, putting up the wall again, to stop people crossing it, is quite cynical and funny. Why didn't they do it 10 years ago? Why don't they publish their profits in Ireland for the last 10 years? You know what I mean? Really, dropping a can of beans? Yeah, please, give me a break.
So you think it's all a cynical ploy on their behalf, do you?
Please. Are you telling me they're not cynical? Not capable of being cynical? They're a very large business organisation that historically has no loyalties to Ireland.
Tesco specifically?
Oh, I talk about all large supermarket groups.
Because Dunn's, you know, were well able to charge different prices up north as well.
There's a real question of what organisations have been doing on the pricing in Ireland, and clearly things have been totally overpriced over the last few years. And on the back of a very buoyant economy, they did fill their pockets. No question about it.
But the farmers, of course, as you know, have been complaining about the drop in prices, Richard, because they're saying they're the ones now who are going to take the real hit. Would you support their complaints?
I would. If I was a farmer, I'd be outside of these supermarket groups with my tractor and and all my animals, complaining and telling the consumer what is exactly wrong and what they're exactly buying. I would find in a very quick state of affairs they might reverse some of their buying and purchasing policies.
So you would feel very sorry for the producers of the food in this country, would you?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. You know, I think they're up against it in every direction. You know, I mean, it's not. This is no effect. I think the price they're getting. What all of these farms have been doing, they've been producing commodity for this food commodity market at a certain price. And all of a sudden, the price has disappeared and they're on their knees. And they're asking for help and food vouchers. I mean, some of them are absolutely broke. They're having a thing. And the supermarkets have no loyalties. It's all about price. They have no loyalties to Irish industry. No, whatsoever.
Do you think then that Irish shoppers, Irish consumers, should not actually be supporting these supermarkets, that we really should be shopping as locally as we possibly can?
I just think it's a consumer's choice of where they want to spend their money. But if they want to protect Irish jobs and they want to have a very high ethical standard of purchasing, which they should, because business and ethics work together, I just think they need to look very carefully where they're spending their punt.
But do you think that just because you're shopping at your local butchers, you're necessarily getting better value, a better piece of Irish meat? That's not necessarily the case, though, is it?
Well, you're keeping an Irish employee at work, or maybe 2 or 3 in the butcher shop, and all the everything surrounding that. I would like to see that butcher shop, that he wouldn't be importing these chicken breasts, that he'd be selling cheap and it would be a local chicken or something like that. I just think there has to be. I'm just asking for an opening of discussion regarding all of food and food within Ireland. You know what I mean? Why isn't it? Why isn't it that if something is GM, why doesn't it state on the packaging at least? So I have a choice as a consumer if I want to buy it or not.
You don't think we should be eating genetically modified foods, do you?
I think you have a choice as a consumer to eat it or not. But it should be on the packet, and at this moment in time on packaging within Ireland, it doesn't say if it is or not.
But you have this whole bizarre thing going on as well with the labelling of, we'll say, a chicken product. So you could have a chicken Kiev.
Oh, you know yourself, yeah.
Well, I've done a little bit of research on this. You might have a chicken Kiev, which actually claims to be Irish because it was processed in Ireland, or a few breadcrumbs were thrown in it. But the chicken may come from Eastern Europe or Brazil. I mean, tell us a little bit about that again.
Basically, any value-added product, basically, if you bring in a piece of chicken meat and stuff it, then you can sell it as an Irish chicken, basically.
Which is ridiculous, isn't it?
I think it's disgraceful. Not just ridiculous, I think it's disgraceful.
But you're not exactly a fan of Irish chickens. I mean, you have criticised Irish chicken producers in the past.
Please, I mean, it'd be like saying I'm not a fan of Irish people. You know what I mean? Being Irish, I've stated the fact of industrial farming and what I felt of that lobby group, I'll be honest with you. And I certainly got a lot of eggs thrown at me by one side of the industry, I'll be honest with you, which I've discussed with since. And by the way, some of them are trying to change, and some of them are moving in different directions. But, we've opened debate. I couldn't find an organic or free-range chicken in Ireland 3.5 years ago. I find them everywhere now. Do you not think that's a good debate?
Yes, but I suppose, but the reality is, and especially now these days when people have less money, that, paying €15, €20 for an organic chicken versus one that's been, that has been developed or produced in a chicken farm.
You have to ask yourself, first of all, it's always a price issue. It always goes back to price, especially with the media and someone passionate like myself. If you look at an organic chicken, there's an 80-day life of flavour and taste surrounding that bird, yeah? Okay? It's been fed a very high standard of farm feed. You're looking at a free range of 50 plus, and then you're looking at an industrial one of maybe 28 to 33. Make your own choice what you want to eat. The argument of the €15–20, well, that's a supermarket charge. Certainly, I know the organic farmers are not getting that themselves. So I would say shop locally and get your organic chickens locally and pay €8 to €10, because they're not that much more expensive, believe it or not. But when they get into the shops, they tend to double in price.
Now, Richard, I'm interviewing you in your new restaurant here, Bentley's Oyster Bar, looking onto Stephen's Green, very nice location.
Lovely.
Can people like you survive these days in having these kind of semi-exclusive restaurants at a time when...
Exclusive? You can eat here for €50. What are you talking about exclusive? I paid more in rural Ireland for a bad lunch. You know what I mean, really? I mean, I love that. I love it. Because we're in a really smart building. I'm a very democratic individual. You can come in here and have a glass of wine in the main course and walk away with €25.
But you are a Michelin Star chef.
I've done that before recession was announced. I haven't done it after a recession came along. I've been doing what I've been doing from the very beginning. We have set the standard on pricing in this town. You know what I mean? Be market leaders within your industry. That's what I say. You know what I mean? Brasserie Deluxe, that's what it is. It's not a Michelin Star restaurant.